The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends, to the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. I am James Golden, your host. It is the fastest hour in American media, and we are underway with it. Big news today, my friends, from the Mideast. I printed earlier in the day it was over 20 pages of updates that were coming in from various mainstream media outlets on the war with Israel, between Israel and Iran, or one could call them the military actions. And, of course, Donald Trump, President of the United States, left the G7 early because he wanted to get back to the Situation Room. Something is developing. Today, Donald Trump called for Iran to unconditionally surrender. Called on Iran to surrender without conditions to bring an end to the days-long conflict with Israel. Donald Trump also said the United States knew the location of Iran's leader, but we're not going to kill him, at least not for now. He made the comment as America's military footprint in the region is growing. We are, of course, ramping up battleships and air capabilities. The White House is saying that Donald Trump's decision so far is that the United States is not going to join the Israeli attack on Iran, and that speculation comes because of the military buildup. A third Navy destroyer has entered the Mediterranean Sea, and a second carrier strike group is now headed over. The Pentagon is saying that the military buildup is purely defensive. The death toll so far in this conflict is about 450 people as they continue to exchange fire, but we are learning things about the Israeli attack that contradict earlier information. One of the pieces of information we had earlier on was that, Israel hit some of their nuclear capabilities, but they hit the outside. These things are buried deep and wasn't much damage done to the facilities themselves. Well, that information is now turning out to be erroneous if the latest reporting is to be believed. Supposedly, Israel struck a lot deeper into the nuclear capabilities of Iran, especially at Nasrat, I believe the name of the location is. And apparently, this is the biggest center where uranium enrichment is going on. Of course, that would make them, if utilized, nuclear capable. They achieved direct impacts on the underground area of the Natanz nuclear site, where Iran enriches its uranium. And so that means that there is more serious damage than was earlier reported. Israel today has said in recent hours that they now have air superiority. So what they're saying in essence is that Iran's Air Force has been decimated to the point that they cannot mount a great attack. Story in the Wall Street Journal to show you how everything comes back to China in a way. If Iran's oil is cut off, China will pay the price. Iran exports about 1 million, almost 2 million barrels a day, 1.7 of crude oil a day, 2% of the global demand, but most of that's going to China. More than 90% of Iranians' oil now goes to China. And it's sold at a discount because other nations, because of sanctions, won't touch it. Chinese don't pay them in dollars either. It's called a colonial trap. They're paying for them in renminbi, which is, I guess, the currency in Iran, not dollars, which would give them more wealth. You know, there's been a big move to dethrone the United States dollar as the world currency. Apparently, that's not going too well. Then came news today that Israel, 4 days ago, in response to the attacks, Israel had killed the number one guy in the military, so they put someone else in the role. He's dead now. He deaded. 4 days later, Israel says they've killed the new senior Iranian military official. And by the way, there were hints. One of the things I read, I got to pull out the story, find out, remember where I read it. What they're promising, Israel is promising, is what they have planned for Iran is going to make that whole pager, the sophistication of the pager attack on Hamas seems like child's play. So apparently they have something else planned. All sorts of arguments are breaking out on the right between those who say, okay, this is America First agenda, let's not get involved, and with others in the movement, the conservative movement, who are saying this is an opportunity to actually once and for all take care of Iran. And we need to do it. We need to help Israel rid the world of the Iranian leadership. I would just like to posit this. The Cold War, in many ways, was replaced with another Cold War. Not that the remnants of the Cold War still aren't with us, by the way. Our relationship with Russia is still circumspect in many ways. Our relationship and Russia's relationship with China is also circumspect. But there is one Cold War that we have been fighting since the 1980s. And that is with Iran. Iran is responsible for the death of U.S. military personnel when the American forces were in Iraq. It was Iran supplying most of the IEDs that killed and maimed American troops. Anybody that really studies global politics to whatever degree has surely come across what is not challenged very often by anybody, that the number one sponsor of terrorism from a state, from a world power, state-sponsored terrorism, is Iran. And those terrorist attacks take many forms around the world. A tenth of the Iranian population is no longer in Iran. A full tenth of their citizens that could afford to get out have gotten out. Many of them fled to America. You'll find a strong presence in California. You'll find a strong presence up in some states up north. And in Canada and other places, there's strong Iranian populations, those that could afford to get out. And if you listen to the story of many of those Iranians, they reveal the horror that has taken place in that country for the citizens of Iran. Now, I heard one, and she was going on and on about how the king of Iran was deposed by this current group, the Islamic fundamentalists that took over the country. And let me just say for the record, the Shah of Iran, even though he was protected by American influence, the Shah of Iran was no great shakes either. So the Iranian people have suffered in many ways from horrific leadership now well over 50 years, half a century. And regime change, if it happens, would be depending on what happens next. And I don't have a crystal ball. But regime change, the people of Iran would welcome regime change, and the times that they have tried to rise up against these brutal dictators that run that country, they have been completely obliterated and treated horrifically. So Iran has been at war, in my view, with the United States of America since 1980s. Nobody has wanted to take on Iran except the one nation now that was forced to take on Iran because their survival as a nation depended on it, and that was Israel. The idea of Iran becoming a nuclear power was too much to bear. One of these days, perhaps the history books will fully explain the role of Barack Obama in strengthening Iran and the role of the Democrat Party. And John Kerry, in particular, who had an interesting relationship with senior Iranians. He was the one that was negotiating as Secretary of State under the Obama years. And I'll tell you, there's a story there. His relationship with high-level Iranians and why the United States sent over billions of dollars in assets that had been frozen back to the Iranians and how they use them. There is a big story there that needs to be fully explained to the world. Anyway, there's a lot happening domestically, so that's quick updated. The number one story consuming the world today. Our dear friend Tammy Bruce was asked about this. People are wondering, what's Donald Trump going to do? Is he going to jump in? Is he secretly planning something with Israel? When we get back, we'll briefly hear what Tammy Bruce had to say about that, spokesperson for the State Department. And then we will move to other areas of domestic interest. And my friends, the news is, as usual, I love what Princess Diana's, the fire hose. The fire hose of news is on and it's gushing. James Golden, Snerdley. Bill Snerdley's Rush Hour. Fastest hour in American media continues.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So now that we've seen the success of the No Kings protest this Saturday, I'm just sitting here thinking, why don't we do this every Saturday for the foreseeable future? Like, yes. I'm willing to sacrifice 3 to 5 hours every weekend to protest and show that we're not loyal to this authoritarian government.
Yes.
And I feel like most people have Saturdays off, or if you don't have a Saturday off, you can plan one, like, 3 weeks from now I'll take that one off. If we just keep doing this every week, like, it's going to create change. Let me know what y'all think.
I think she's right. It'll create change, especially November 2026. Oh, keep it up, baby. Do your thing. James Golden, Snerdley with you here. Okay, I promised Tammy Bruce, let's listen to Tammy. Let's cut to real quick. Tammy's asked questions. Is Trump, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do?
Characterize what President Trump says or tweets, for that matter. He doesn't need characterizing. He's one of the most transparent, one of the most clear individuals that we've known. I think that we can take his word for his word, but I'm not going to speculate on, in a larger sense, what that would mean. That is up to the president. He is the singular guiding hand about what will be occurring from this point forward, as he has been. And I think that dynamic is pretty clear. He says he wants an end, as he has said about every conflict that he has, as a peacemaker, worked to stop peacefully through diplomacy. That has been his commitment. And he wants these things, as he said about a number of situations, not for a month or 6 months, but durable ends to this nature of forever wars. And that has been his posture, and that's his posture now. Okay.
And that's what Donald Trump is pretty much. He's saying to, again, Iran, surrender unconditionally. He's telling them, you're beaten. And if indeed, my friends, it turns out that Iran is beaten, this is a huge game changer. So we'll just have to be patient and see what happens. James Golden, Snerdley here with you. Fastest hour, of course, in American media. Some of the things I want to touch on before we leave out of here. Brandon Johnson is having like a black-only giveaway for money. That's raising reparations, pretty much. We've got that. We've got the immigration wars. We got some guy in New York that did a padilla. Doing the padilla. We'll be back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. It's a guy.
How you doing, bro?
He's passing an Amazon car.
Look at you. That's how America's about. You're a Nazi. You kill yourself. Look at you running away. Look at you running away. You ain't no American. You ain't no patriot. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. Go. You Nazi. You're a Nazi. Look at you run. Nazi. This is California. We don't want the feds here. What? Say something.
You're hilarious, bro.
You're a little. Step out your car.
You're hilarious.
You're a little Nazi. I hope you go home and eat some Glock bullet. Go with your unclean, unmaintained, cheap-ass Glock you have. Bum.
Good job, bro.
Go to work.
Good job,
go
bro.
Go to work. Get a job, you Nazi piece of.
Good job, bro.
Run.
You did a good job.
This is California. This is California. Nazi. You. Nazi.
Now, what did you just hear? I'll explain. A guy driving in his car, Jeep, whatever, has a Trump flag on the back of his vehicle. He drives past an Amazon delivery truck. The Amazon driver gets out and chases this guy. He's yelling at him the whole time, calling him every curse word and every N word in the book. Every third or fourth word out of this guy's mouth, the Amazon driver was calling this man an N word. This is California. You N-B-I, you N-M-F-R, you N blah, 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 blah. He's chasing the guy.
That's what the 73 beeps were.
That's what the 73 beeps were from the Amazon driver.
That's how America's about. You're a Nazi. You kill yourself. Look at you running away. Look at you running away. You ain't no American. You ain't no patriot.
Yes. You ain't no effing American in. You ain't look in. First of all, the guy was a white guy, okay? I can only see his forearm, but he was a white guy, and he's being called the N-word like he's a rap artist or something. You know what I'm saying? And I just wonder, is Amazon going to track that guy down? He's got one of those little Amazon little shirts on, and he's driving the Amazon truck with the smile that looks like sort of like a phallic smile, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway, I hope Amazon tracks it. And if this guy delivering something to your house, by the way, and you have a trunk flag out, you may want to make sure that your Ring doorbell is working. Because, this guy was off the... Speaking of Amazon, do you know that Amazon is having a 4-day Prime Day next month? Next month is Amazon's 20th anniversary in business, and they're going to do Prime Day for 4 days. Last year, Amazon did a 48-hour one. This 4 days of Prime Days to celebrate. That driver might be working overtime if you've got it. Woof. All right, other quick news before we get to some Kraft Heinz Company. There's a John Kerry reference here somewhere. Heinz. Oh, never mind. Kraft is going to remove artificial dyes from food products over the next 2 years. Now, why do you suppose they're doing that? Kraft Heinz announced today it would be removing artificial food dyes from its products within the next 2 years. The company said 10% of its products currently contain FD&C color additives, which are approved for use by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in such brands as Crystal Light, Jell-O, Kool-Aid, but they're going to remove artificial colors, preservatives, and flavors. They already did from Kraft macaroni and cheese, and this Heinz ketchup has never had any artificial dyes. They said as a food company with over 150-year heritage, they're continuingly involving their recipes and all that. So they're going to get rid of the food colors. Why do you suppose they're doing that? Congratulations, Robert. Yeah. Okay, a few things. Let's check in with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. That's cut number one. Carlos, don't have to look far for that one. Chicago Mayor.
Our way will bring to black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as blacks here in Chicago and America, remembering our past and working towards a more just future. Investing in black is not a criminal act.
Say it again.
Sister Zakiya says she need a witness, so I'm gonna say it again.
Say it again.
Investing in black is not a criminal act.
Get back. Investing in black is not a criminal act. Get back, baby, with your bad self. These are grants that are going to black people. If you happen not to be a black person, screw you. Taxpayer money, screw you. It's kind of like a reparations deal. We're just going to give money to black people. Now, I have a question. Because you see, investing in black ain't a criminal act. Well, he didn't say ain't. That would be Ebonic. He said investing in black is not a criminal act. Baby. If investing in black is not a criminal act, can we take that logic and extend it? For instance, if we get a new white mayor in good old Chicago, might that white mayor just say, invest in white is quite all right? And would anybody object to that? Invest in the yellow. It makes it mellow. I mean, we could just take this we could just do this thing, you know? I mean, because investing in black is not a criminal act. And so we just want to give money to black people and screw everybody else. Why? That's all right. Justice Department. Oh, Justice Department. Meanwhile, Representative Ilhan Omar is speaking again. I won't even characterize it because Ilhan Omar does such a good job of self-characterization. That would be cut for. Carlos, let's listen here.
To be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined. And this is not the country that is supported by our Constitution, our ideals, our values. And we should all collectively be out in the streets rejecting what is taking place this week.
This is not the country. First of all, military parades have happened in America before. I don't even want to get into a point by point with this woman. It's pointless. But America, as you hear from Ilhan Omar, now one of the worst countries in the world. And our military, by the way, is not acting unconstitutionally. She's talking, of course, about immigration. We had in New York today, what's this guy's name? Oh, his name is Brandlander. He did a Padilla. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the Padilla. I'm going to do a Padilla. And so he did the Padilla. Now this, my friends, could be big. This could be the latest dance craze that takes across the entire Democrat Party. Let's do the Padilla. And so, city controller, comptroller, mayoral candidate, nobody even knows this guy's name or knew it before today, Brad Lander, locked arms with some folks that ICE was taken away and started trying to make demands on the ICE agents that were there, clearly obstructing. There are pictures of him dancing around. Well, as he's being led away, it looks like a dance move. So Brad Lander decided he wanted to do the Padilla. Let's do the Padilla. Let's stage something that will get us in front of people to make us look like the new immigration hero. Do the Padilla. Speaking of Padilla, he spoke on the Senate floor today. Folks, I don't know whether you can bear it. It's so emotional. Yes, it's cut 7, Carlos. It was so difficult to listen to.
I was forced to the ground.
No.
First on my knees.
No.
And then flat on my chest.
No. How?
And as I was handcuffed.
Why?
And marched down a hallway.
No.
Repeatedly asking, why am I being detained?
Why?
Not once did they tell me why.
Not once.
I pray you never have a moment like this.
Oh, no.
But I will tell you, in that moment, a lot of questions came to my mind.
Yeah.
First of all, where are they taking me?
Oh,
because I know I'm not just being escorted out of the building. Am I being arrested here?
You should have been. I don't believe it. Poor man. It was terrible. He just barged in and looked like he was going to interrupt and maybe take out the Department of Homeland Security person. And they put me on my knees and they put me on my chest. Do the Padilla, baby. Do the Padilla. Let's see how far we can make do that Padilla. Come on, baby. Give me some Padilla with some hot sauce on it. Do that thing. Do the Padilla. Cry for me, baby. Oh. Speaking of that, let's do a flashback, my friends, because time is running out on this the fastest. First, let's do two things. Let's listen to Hollywood actor and genius Mark Ruffalo, however you pronounce his name, cut 14. That's the guy that played the Hulk in that one movie that was halfway decent from Marvel, the first one.
It's not the immigrants, it's the billionaires. Well, we're seeing what's happening. First of all, we're understanding that the immigrants aren't the criminals. If you look at the statistics, most of the crimes that are committed in this country are by white people, that non-immigrants, and they add to our economy by the billions. And so for every horrible thing that you have to go through in life, you get an equal gift in return. And the gift of this time is that we get to see who the true villains are. We get to see who's really making our lives unbearable and who's making us so desperate. It's not the immigrants, it's the billionaires. And it's time to take our country back from that extreme wealth that has its hands all over the power of the nation. Now, this guy,
enough already. This guy, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't those Hulk movies do kind of well? Hadn't he been in a bunch of other movies? You think this guy may have a few $1 million tucked away somewhere? Yep. Okay, and so he's itching about rich people when he is one of the rich people. And thank you, Mark. Turn into something green besides money or jealousy. Because it sure does sound like he had a bad, crazy jealousy about people that are still richer than he is. I'm just saying. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we head off into our last Commerce Center break, let us go through a flashback. Thank you, TJ, for pulling this one up for me. Ladies and gentlemen, you will know the voice, those of you people. It is cut number 8. You will know the voice, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine that bony little finger wagging at you when you hear it.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
What? Yes, my friends. That was Billy back in the day.
Billy Blue Dress.
Yeah, Billy Blue Dress. Billy Blue Dress. James Golden Snerdley, do not go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
At the point where if it's not free Palestine, if it's not ICE, we're not friends. You haven't seen anything? You haven't said anything? Whack.
Yeah, liberals. I'm thinking about calling these liberals something, a name for them. Like K with a K, crazed with a K, kook, K Karens. Crazed kook Karens. The new KKK. 1973, Dolly Parton records this one at RCA Studio B in Nashville. Of course, you know the song became big for Whitney. Gotta go, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, may God bless. I told you it's the fastest hour in American media. You know that Amazon driver? 36 bleeps. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your family, your loved ones. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?